Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So today we've got another spray gun review, and we've got the Iwata Kiwami 4. So this one here is in the 1.3. We're not going to be doing a unboxing on this video because, well, I didn't unbox it and I don't have the box. It's not even my gun. So as you notice there on the screen, S43 is the PPS2 adapter, so that is the same as the Supernova and the Supernova Series 2, if you are wondering, so that could be handy. But yeah, the gun did obviously come with a pot, as you can see there. I wouldn't say it's one of the better pots I've used. I mean, it's a nice sort of metal pot, so the quality seems okay. But as you may notice in a few minutes, you can start to see from the top it's leaking a little bit. So anyone who's familiar with the DeVilbiss and the standard pots on a DeVilbiss will know that they've got this little raised section. So the chances of that happening, even if you do have a full pot of clear or base or whatever it be, it's just not going to happen because you do have that raised section. So it's one of those things. I don't know why everyone doesn't sort of, like, when there's a really good idea like that, I don't know why everyone doesn't follow. But look, my experience these days, most people don't even use the standard pots. Most people are on the PPS or PPS2 or even the knockoff PPS, like they're a little bit cheaper. But yeah, either way, I'm using the PPG LVC 136 clear coat on this job here, and I'm pretty impressed with how this thing sprays. It's actually an absolute cannon. Now, the fan is not the biggest that you would have ever seen, but I was thinking that could actually end up being a helpful thing for those at home, so it probably doesn't use a massive amount of air. Now, look, I would say this gun is a good all-rounder. You know, you could put pretty much anything you want through it. You could put, you know, your wet on wets, your base coats. It may not be the best for base coat. I haven't actually used it for base coat because when I go, I've actually found these days, yeah, I just think it's a little bit more critical to get the base coat right. Specifically now that I'm spraying PPG EnviroBase again, I think it's more critical to get the spray gun right and the settings right and the application method right on the base coat than it is with your clear coat. I guess you can sort of use whatever gun you like for clear, within reason, in saying that, because I've actually recently switched over to the PPG LVC 105 clear on request of my boss, because the gloss retention is actually much better, and a side note, you will actually get flatter finishes with it, but that 105 clear will run. So if you do hang around for another couple of minutes, I'm going to be spraying some 105 clear coat on a bonnet and boot lid of a Mazda. Now, as it turned out, they looked really, really good, but I got a couple of runs on that boot lid. I didn't even realize it was running until after I hit bake, so I didn't actually get any footage. It would have been, I should have, but I don't know, sometimes when a mistake like that happens, you're just more in the mood of fixing it than getting a video so you can show it to everyone. So never mind, either way. So that's it. That's the LVC 136 clear coat going down with the Iwata Kiwami. That's a pretty nice factory looking finish. Yeah, I mean, that's it. What else can you ask for? You know, it's a budget gun. I think they come in at around $250 to $350. So for that kind of price, you can hardly go wrong. It's one of those things that if you're thinking of getting one, just get one. You know what I mean? Like I say, what's the worst that can happen? You've got yourself a wet on wet gun, or you've got yourself a wet base coat blender gun or something like that. You can use it as your second or third tier gun. It doesn't ever really have to be your, you know, your first go-to gun if you don't like it. But, you know, you may just absolutely love it for clear coating. It might be your top gun. But like I say, I can't imagine it being anyone's like go-to choice for base coat for PPG EnviroBase anyway. I actually didn't even use it for EnviroBase, so I probably should have used it for the purpose of the review before I go and say it's not good for base coat, but I just can't imagine it being the best for base coat. So if anyone has used it for base coat, be sure to let us know in the comments and let us know your thoughts on it. But as you can see here, that's that bonnet that I was telling you about, and this is the 105 clear. So you might notice I've sped the speed of the gun up a lot for that first coat. This 105 clear, yeah, it really does have to be sprayed the right way. And like I said, I didn't even necessarily do this one the right way. Like, you can get big sausages or window framing, whatever you want to call it, even on bonnets, on flat panels, and you'll just get runs around door handles. And yeah, when it goes, this stuff, I tell you what. But yeah, it will leave you with the most superior gloss retention out of any PPG clears, and I think I've used pretty much all of them, like all of the ones that are available here in Australia. And even some of the international ones, like the 8173, I've used that before. I must admit, I'm not the biggest fan of PPG clears for whatever reason. Like, I can make them look okay, but you really do have to work them a little bit harder than some of the Axe Ultra clears. And another thing I'm not a big fan of PPG clears is sometimes they don't even dry. Like, they'll actually stay gummy. So it's really embarrassing. I wish I didn't use the PPG clears on this respray that I did, but I did a candy over flake respray, used PPG clear on it a year later. So I cut that thing back dead flat, flow coated it and everything, cut it back dead flat after like 6 months, so it was fully cured. And then a year or 6 months after I cut it back flat, it was still moving. The guy brought it over to my shop, and I put my fingernail in it a year after painting it, and it's still moving. So I had no idea that PPG clears did that. So like I say, it's embarrassing that that job looked like that, and it really doesn't look that good, but the amount of hours that we put into it, it should look a lot better than that. So I'm not sure if this 105 clear does that, but because it's a case of, you know, when we paint a car, they don't just, well, unless it's your own car, they don't just sit around, you know. And the funniest part about that is that I actually think the best PPG clear is the Autothane. Like, it sounds like I'm joking, but it's their cheapest brand. I think it's actually the best clear they've got. I've even used their Vibrance range, and I'm not, I don't know, just, you really got to work that stuff to get it on nice. Like, you've got to just heave it on, or else it just dries way too quick. Anyway, I think I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. I was here to talk about the spray gun. As you can see there, I've been running it at full fan, full fluid, and 2-bar pressure. So you can crank it up a little bit on that first coat just to get it to atomize a little bit finer and get that thinner coat down. So here, exactly there is where I was getting the runs. I'm just watching myself. Where am I overloading it? Yeah, it's probably not me, it's more just the clear. If I sprayed, say, the 136 like this, there's no way it would have run. It's just the fact that it is that 105 clear. It was probably just pulling up from the top and just running off the top. So I didn't end up redoing that whole boot lid. It was just that lower section. Like I say, it looked good off the gun, but then after a bake, I came back and I'm like, whoa. Either way, so there you go. I'm getting these jobs coming up a lot better too, actually. So I sort of struggled with this color for a long time, but I sort of dug down and I made it work. You know, I'm actually going to be doing a ultimate guide to spraying this color, so it's going to be take a fair bit of editing for me and going to take a bit more time than the usual vid, but yeah, I've got pretty good at it, fair to say. But yeah, so this is obviously not a sponsored video. A follower of mine got in contact with me and he wanted to loan one of my guns, the ANI Black. And the funniest part about that, I mean, I shouldn't be laughing, but it's like, it's a compressor killer, that ANI Black. The fan on that ANI Black is so big that legit, he had a respray going on in his workshop and it blew the compressor up, the ANI Black. So yeah, basically I loaned this gun off him and I gave him the ANI Black for a couple of weeks and that's what happened. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favorite is those spray suits. So they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.